Prakash Indulkar, and I'm one of the alumni of SP College of Food Technology. I'm currently working in Alana Group of Companies at their bakery division as Quality Assurance Officer. Previously, I was associated with Bisleri International Private Limited for 1 year. So, overall experience of mine is 2+ year experience in quality assurance and quality control as well. So this was my short introduction. Before moving further, I would like to thank the organizing committee of SP College of Food Technology for giving me the opportunity to host this great webinar session. So today we will be discussing on the trends in food industry post-COVID scenario. Actually, earlier this seminar was about to conducted by Ms. Manjushri Bhave ma'am, who is managing director of Giava India Private Limited. But we are really glad and fortunate to have with us today Mr. Ajay Bedekar sir, and sir will be enlightening us about the same. I'll be glad to introduce briefly about Mr. Ajay Bedekar sir. So, sir has a huge corporate experience of 29 years, and he's currently working as GM with Giava India Private Limited. And back then in 1991, sir started working in his career with Impel Petro Private Limited in sales department. The company manufactured petroleum jelly for PIJF and optical fiber cables for telecom industry. Then in 1995, Sir switched this industry and started working in a milk industry and supplied automation units for milk collection centers all over the India. And then in 2001, Sir started working as a general manager with Giava India Private Limited. And he's mostly engaged in commercial activities in sales and purchase. He has been instrumental right from construction of plants in India and all the necessary permission required for setting up the manufacturing unit. So this was a brief introduction about Sir. I know with because of this long introduction, you all are excited to hear from him. So without taking much of our time, I would like to request Sir to please take over and start his presentation. And there is a one more request to all of the participants for uninterrupted knowledge gaining. Please stay on mute while the presentation starts. So thank you.
Thank you, Sri. Thanks for the introduction. And hello, everyone, all the participants, students of SP College of Food Technology. I also take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee of this college for inviting me for this delivering this lecture. As Sri said, our managing director, Mrs. Bhave, was supposed to deliver the lecture today, but due to some emergency and some other commitments, she could not attend this. So that's the reason I'm in front of you. So friends, I'll first of all brief about my company, where I'm working currently, because this is something very interesting for you students who are into food technology already. This is Giava India Private Limited, the company's name, and we as a Giava group have a plant in Singapore also, manufacturing basically lecithin as the main product. The company mainly focuses on food, animal feed and agricultural sector, and we are the largest manufacturers of de-oiled lecithin, which is called lecithin powder in the world. This is the first plant we had in India, which is the biggest plant in India manufacturing lecithin near Y at Satara. And then we also put up a new plant somewhere in 2011. We started the construction and it is already functional in Singapore, because the plant in India, we were producing non-GMO lecithin. There are two types of lecithin. Basically, lecithin, I will just explain you shortly. For example, soya lecithin is something like, we all know soya oil. So the soya beans are crushed, and then from the after the crushing, the oil is the end product. Whereas first is the crude oil. When the crude oil is refined, you get the crushed oil, the refined oil. And during the refining process, there's a byproduct called liquid lecithin, which we further purify, and that particular product is made into a powder form, and which goes into the food industry mainly as emulsifier. This is the main function of lecithin. It is an emulsifier. I'll tell you more about it in my next slide. We as a unit, as a group, now produce an input of 9,000 tons of lecithin yearly, and we produce somewhere around 5,000 tons of powdered lecithin of various types like soya lecithin or sunflower lecithin or rapeseed lecithin. And India being a basically India produces all non-GMO products. Only in India, soybean is non-GM. All over the world is now a trend of GM. So that's the reason Indian lecithin has got a premium over other lecithin in the world. What is lecithin? Lecithin is emulsifier that is extracted from naturally occurring fatty products. Lecithin is a class of molecule known as phospholipid. There is a triglyceride molecule with a phosphate group. And what is emulsion basically? Emulsion is, there are two immiscible liquids do not mix together. They have a very clear separate layers like oil and water. If you mix together, you'll have a oil and a water layer separate, and you will never see it mixed. But when you add lecithin to oil, stir it well, activate lecithin, and then go on putting water, this will form a thick layer of emulsion or a mix of oil and water together. So how does this help? I'll just give you a small example of maybe a bakery where we have khari or puffs. So what a baker does is he makes a mix like this, puts into the dough, and the dough is mixed well. Wherein oil and water go into it is spread over into the each and every corner of the dough. When the dough is further made into a small puff, and it is, or maybe a bread or something, and when it is put into the oven, the oil will be as it is, but the water molecules will be evaporated. And what lecithin does, but the evaporation is from each and every part of the, suppose if it is a bread, from each and every part of the bread, the water is released, and like vapors are formed, and the sponginess to the bread is, you can see a sponginess to the bread. What lecithin does is it has got an inherent property of retention of moisture. So some part of moisture is retained in this. From each and every part of the bread, the water goes out and some part is retained. Now what happens? The bread becomes a bit more lighter, and it increases in size. You must have seen that when on the second day, when we bring a loaf of bread to our home, on the second day, we see the bread starts crumbling. Or you can also see some small globes within the bread, which are oil chunks. This does not happen in our case when lecithin is used in bread, because oil and water have been put into each and every corner of this bread dough, and you will not see a oil globe at some part of the bread, and there are some chunks which you always form, or the bread starts crumbling. Bhuga pada lagta hai, I would say. This does not happen when lecithin is used in bread, and this is what the bakers do all over the world. Basically, we are producing the product and supplying it to more than 25 countries in the world. So mainly it goes into confectionery, food industry as a emulsifier, health industry, and many other industry where emulsion is required. It also goes into the feed industry, because one part of the phospholipid content is choline, which is very important in animal. For poultry industry, this is a very essential product, because choline protects the animals from the fatty liver syndromes. I will not go more into technical, but choline is a very important ingredient of this phospholipids, which is widely used in animal feed industry. So it has to be choline rich always, and that's the property why animal industry uses lecithin in a big way. These are our plants. We have, as I said, we have two plants. This plant is in Singapore. There you can see two different separate towers. These are two separate plants. I will give you a small brief about lecithin again. Lecithin is one which is genetically modified, which countries like Brazil, Argentina, China, US, everybody produces. a country like India produces non-GMO lecithin, because non-GMO lecithin is only allowed in India. The government has banned to bring any GMO seeds in India, and European countries prefer to have the non-GM lecithin more. There is a small, I would not say a drawback, but yes, this lecithin is, soya lecithin is an allergen lecithin. And there is one more lecithin now which we are doing in a big way and which is very famous in Europe and US, is sunflower lecithin. So sunflower lecithin is a non-GMO, but it is also a non-allergen. So in baby food products all over the world now, instead of soya lecithin, there is a usage of non-GMO, non-allergen lecithin, which is sunflower lecithin. One more lecithin is available. There are many more, but rapeseed lecithin is also getting popular in this way. So this plant particularly produces GMO mainly as the main product. Day and night they produce GMO lecithin and cater the feed requirement all over the world. But there is additional plant which also produces at times. If we are overbooked, we use this plant. Otherwise, this is kept for a non-GMO lecithin production. This is the India plant, which is based near Satara in YMIDC. This is the first plant we built up in 2004-5, and we started our commercial production since that, and have been supplying to more than 25 countries since that. This is a 100% export oriented unit, and this is our first venture in India, and after that we expanded in Singapore. Why Singapore? Just to give you a small look, Singapore is a hub where the logistic, because it's a business hub, logistic cost, if you bring raw material from any corner of the world, it is the best and cheapest freight you get. And since we are operating, doing all GMO product at Singapore, from all of the countries like Brazil, Argentina, US or China, we can get this lecithin at a very reasonable freight, and that saves on cost. I'm explaining you this more because many of the students are from the food technology side, and this can be interesting from them, and I'm from the same industry. These are few products which we are giving to the industry. As I said, the de-oiled. Why de-oiled? Because it's a liquid product. We separate the oil out of it and we make a powder out of it. So Geofine P is powder de-oiled soya lecithin. So this is the main product. We also produce, because this can be GMO, so we have not mentioned non-GMO. In the second product is the non-GMO de-oiled, which is a GMO-free soya lecithin. So it is non-GM, it is GMO-free. Then we produce the de-oiled sunflower lecithin, which is non-GMO, non-allergen. It's non-GMO, non-allergen. Used in all baby food or health food in Europe, mainly widely used in Europe and US. Then we also produce rapeseed lecithin, which is also a GMO, non-GMO and non-allergen product. After that, we also standardize the liquids which are available in the I'm sorry, with the oil mills. These are standardized, made to some consistency. They are purified, and we supply soya lecithin liquid, GMO. We supply GMO non-GMO liquid. Soya lecithin, which is non-GM. Sunflower lecithin again, which is a non-GM and non-allergen, and rapeseed lecithin as well. So this is what GIAVA India does, and I look after the commercial activities in this company, the sales and purchase and other activities in this company. Now we move on to our main topic today, impact on food industry post-COVID. Why I chose this topic is there has been a drastic change in food industry post-COVID. We are yet into that phase, but we are slowly, I'm sure we will slowly come out of it. We are already, it has the effect has at some places have gone or reduced, and slowly we will be out of this. But just to give a glimpse, what has happened is this virus started in all countries but somewhere in February we started hearing about this. But in India, we had our first patient in March, and then we had to go on a lockdown for 21 days, which was again extended. And this pandemic, what did this pandemic do is, because nobody could go out of the home, and then there was a fear in mind, because there are various things which came into, we learned about this, that by touching the vegetables or by this thing, there is a fear that we will get affected, and that was a fact initially. Yes, there was that fear. Everybody was afraid to get vegetables from outside, even during the free period, cook them, because many of them used to do a lot of processing on that vegetables, clean well, maybe many of them I've heard that they used to put the vegetables into the leafy vegetables into washing machine and then wash it and then get it, basically to disinfect it from the corona, because the fear was too much. What happened is food industry got affected very much. Major setback we got from April, because March still we had, when people had a lot of stocks, but as it began to rise up, the pandemic was very severe later on. The food industry obviously was affected more. There was a rumor initially in poultry industry also due to this pandemic, and the poultry industry was hit back very badly initially, because there was a rumor that this is into the poultry also. So people stopped eating chicken, and the poultry industry was affected very badly. We all know this because there was a news on this. The grocery and vegetable purchase was also affected, because most of them were not willing to buy, and just because of the fear of handling these vegetables. So you can see that the virus had made a very deep impact on the minds of the population, restricted them to use this very limited food, which is like the whatever we already have in our houses, but not bring the fresh vegetables from outside. Restaurant business was already closed, and the food services and restaurant business was completely closed for a few months. And this is where the main food effect on food industry happened, because there are many industries which are dependent on restaurant business. Many of them, because the major chunk of any food manufacturing company, it can be manufacturing anything, like even if you, for example, you can take chicken. Home consumed chicken is very less than what goes to the restaurants, because it is from a small dhaba to big 5-star restaurants. The chicken manufacturers or the traders supply chicken, and then and what we eat is a very small part of it. I mean, household consumption of chicken is very less compared to what goes to the industry. And this industry, hotel industry, was completely stopped. I mean, it was closed. And then the parcel services like the Swiggy or the food services were also closed. That had a very bad impact. These services or food services were closed. There was no parcel, nothing till, I guess, till the month of May or June even, no parcels were available. The hotels were completely closed. Overall, the food industry experienced a very bad or the worst period of its in the history. Like all hotels or the entire food industry, processing industry was closed for minimum a month or more. What happened then? People started opting for, once there was a free, maybe there were relaxation of 2 hours or 4 hours in a day. People, instead of bringing the fresh vegetables or anything, pulses or this thing, people started opting for the packed food. Why so? In urban area, most of the families, the husband and wife are working. So, and in IT industry or any other industry, in my industry, we used to start work right from the morning till the evening, because Europe, and I mean for us or for anybody, everybody was working after the first lockdown. Even during the lockdown, people have already started working, but they were already busy. And due to the fear of handling the fresh fruit or the fresh vegetables, a trend of using packed food, ready to eat, ready to cook food, or raw meat which is already processed and packed. This was the trend, and the families or individuals opted to use the packed food more. Work from home culture had already become was the preferred way by all the companies, so that there is no gathering in the office, and hence everybody started working from home, but they were kept busy all throughout the day, and then cooking, no time for cooking. If the husband and wife both are working, everybody is logged in right from the morning. Everybody, what they preferred then was to cook uh, these kind of foods, like get some Punjabi dish or get some dal or this thing which is already made, just cook it, or I mean heat it or microwave it. Chapatis are also available. Some at some homes the chapati was made, but then this was their support, where people started using the packed food more. Even if I wanted to eat chicken, I would bring a packed chicken which is already processed in hygienic conditions, and then I prefer to eat that chicken than the chicken which was available at a butcher, but that was also closed during these days. Uh, See this pandemic. After the pandemic, since, as I said, the food industry had collapsed, but slowly once the sector of ready or packed food industry started picking up because of this mentality, there was a big rise in this food industry. As I said, this is a twofold increase in packed food industry. For example, like chapatis, sabjis, meat products, seafood products, exponential growth was observed in this processing food industry. I have read that it has been 150% increase in ready to eat products or packed food products. So the ready-made food products business has grown from 25 to 30% hike has been seen only for the ready-made food products, which you can just bring it and heat it or microwave it and eat it. The same happened with the frozen food industry, like the meat or seafood or many other items which are frozen were brought to homes and cooked, and the the, the turnover or the sales grew up to 25 to 35% compared to the previous year. So this is what the industry saw in this particular sector of food industry, the packed food industry. So this is an opportunity henceforth, I would say. Still it is an opportunity because this has already gone up, and people are preferring to eat this because only there are many benefits. And I don't know, but for a few months now onwards, and there are not thereafter also, people will start using this as a preferred this thing food item. And this is already this was in market, but the sales grew because of the conditions of pandemic, and we are yet not sure when we'll be out of this. The vaccine is yet to come, but I'm sure by next year we will all be the life will be to the normal. But till then, this food industry will have already picked up well, and people will start using packed food. Why this is preferred? As I said, ready to cook, eat, and frozen products come in packed form. The basic hygiene is well managed during the processing of such packaged food. It needs very less efforts to cook, saves on time, and you can store the product for a long time. You can bring maybe a few packs and keep it. With those which are frozen have to be put into the fridge, or they have a good shelf life. You have that ready handy, and you can use it any day you want to cook it. They are just the ready to cook or ready to eat products are just have to be heated or microwave, and then you can eat them. Some of them you just need to add some water or something to some sabji, and you heat it or microwave it and just eat it. Fear of handling this raw products is was taken care due to the hygiene maintained in the packed food industry, and that is the main reason packed food has been preferred now, and this will continue, I'm sure. So thank you guys. This is what I wanted to emphasize on, that those who are aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start their own, you can think about this. I'm just giving a clue or my view of about the trend in food industry post COVID. You have many options, but food industry will never. It will be growing and growing definitely. That is what has been seen. This is the first time that we saw the worst period in this pandemic, but never it has happened that the food industry has stopped growing. It is growing day by day. This is one of the sector where you can concentrate those who want to. And there are not only packed food. I mean, the packed food at home is also fine as long as you are maintaining the hygiene. But packed food will be a preferred food industry in future. So thank you very much. And this is what I want to say today. Thanks. It was a short this thing, but I wanted to just give you all my view about the industry, and this is what it is. Thank you. Thank you, Sri. Over to
Yeah,
you.
sir. Yeah, sir. Thanks, sir, for. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay. Sir, thank you for those words of wisdom, and surely that will help the new entrepreneurs as well as the students. Most important, the students for their future life. And so now I request all participants to put their queries in chat box as the doubt clearing forum is open, so we can take up some questions. Okay, so there is one question from one of the participant. Sir, is there any scope of any internship like in specific field in food industry?
Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry. Yeah. Can you repeat?
Yeah. So there's a question asked. i- Is there any internship for now in food industry? Means I guess the person is trying to ask for a specific field or scope for internship in specific field for post-COVID scenario.
In food industry, yes, see, the entire industry had, not only food, but all industry had been to a bad scenario within the last few months. And not only these has been better, there are opportunities for internship in food industry.
Sir, I guess there is a sir. I guess there is a quite disturbance in your sound.
Can you hear me now? Or it is?
No. There is a grudge between.
Yes, sir. Hello, am I audible now?
No, sir. There is still any. There is a clutch between it. Yeah. No one is. No. Still not, sir. Actually, there is a clutches between your sound. Something. The sound is not coming properly.
I'm sorry, but everything is the same. I have not changed anything here, and I don't know, maybe my Wi-Fi or something is weak or something like that. Can you pass on the question to me? Maybe when we try to deliver or answer it on mail or something. If at all, because if I'm not audible,
No, sir. Actually, still you are not audible.
sorry, then can you pass on me if there are any queries or questions, then we will try to answer them on mail.
Okay.
Because this way, I'm sorry, but this will remain for a while because the numbers are weak.
Okay. As sir is saying, there is some issue in his Wi-Fi. So,
You can take those questions and pass on to me and I'll answer that.
okay. Sir, actually, can you just do one favor? Like, can you type whatever you're saying right now? Because anyone from us is not able to hear your voice properly. So just type it, and I can convey. I will convey to all our participants as well. Hello. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have first of all, dear participants, sorry for the inconvenience, but there is some kind of issue with Ajas's Wi-Fi. So what he's saying is currently you can mail. Like you can contact on our group for the queries from this webinar, so that we can pass those questions to Ajay sir, and we will get back to all the answers. So okay, so then with your permission, sir, can we proceed with a vote of thanks ceremony? Okay, okay. So first of all, I would like to thanks Mr. Ajay Bedekar sir, who was our today's speaker, for adoring their necessary work and sharing his graceful opinion on on such a critical topic for in today's era. And secondly, so I would like to tell one more thing. So participant, the event like this cannot happen overnight. The like the week before the week we started our activities and all that stuff. So I would like to thank all the organizing committee for working out of their comfort zone to make this event happen. And lastly, I would like to thank one of our alumni, Mr. Vaibhav Aire, for helping us greatly to make this webinar session happen. So thank you, sir. Thank you once again. So with this, I will I will announce that end of the seminar. And there is a small reminder for all the participants. We are having the last webinar from this whole webinar series at the 2 p.m. sharp, and the topic will be a dairy industry overview and emerging trends. So I will be requesting all the participants to join 15 minutes prior to this. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.